ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday Politi-tics. I'm your host, Jake Johnson. How's it going? What's happening out there in the world? How do you feel about this week in politics? I'm alive. I'm here. Whew, what a week. Fab Daddy, you're first in chat, so you get the gold star. How are you, dear? How are you, dear? Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world. Fab Daddy says, let me get on my sparring gear. That's right. Let's get going. You're the guy I need to see. Here's your gold star, by the way. Amanda says, hi, UntetheredLive family. Good to see you all. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody's doing fine. Hope everybody had a good week. Hi, Jake. How are you tonight? Out of breath, out of touch, out of bounds, and live currently, 8:30. Here I am. Whew, good gracious. Amanda says, hi, Fab Daddy. How are you? Fab Daddy says, last time I got punched pretty hard. No, sir. You never get punched hard here. It's all in fun. There's no hard feelings ever. Caucasian Sasquatch here, he says, would not let me in. I'm oppressed. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. I didn't stop you. How are you? Caucasian says, hi, Banhammer. Or Banhammer LOL, excuse me. Oh, you're saying you got banhammered. No. Nobody's banhammered the Caucasian Sasquatch. It's all in your imagination, man. How are things? How's the world? Man, it's been a crazy week. Trump's been in office for 2 weeks. It feels like it's been 2 years. A lot of stuff is going on. Did you see the video where all the Congress people, Maxine Waters and all them, went down to the USAID building to try to get in, and the dude was standing in front of the door? Have you ever seen a group of adults more like a child with their hand in the cookie jar when the parent walks in the room, like, cookie jar face? That's it from now on. Those people are in deep shit. And that's just all there is to it. They have been caught, and they're all one by one. Mark my words, write it down that I said so. One by one, they're all going to go down this year. Caucasian Sasquatch says, I was just slandered in another chat. I asked if he read Hebrew. Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. Nobody ever talks about me in other chats when they shouldn't. Fat Daddy says, sure play the victim card, Caucasian Sasquatch. And Caucasian says, suddenly angry proof. Suddenly angry poof. You guys got to work on your punctuation. I can't read. Maybe I need to work on my reading. Caucasian says, I am no victim unless it is Jake is the suspect. You're no victim unless I'm the suspect? Well, why would I be a suspect? I'm in North Carolina. Unless you think that I could actually, poof around the world. Or unless you think that I actually block people, because I don't. I haven't touched the ban button in many, many, many moons. I wouldn't even know how to ban somebody at this point. Caucasian says, got blocked. Yep. Humor. Oh, I see. Fab Daddy says, I want to talk about J.D. Vance in Europe. We'll talk about it. What did he do? And what are you upset about? By the way, this is a nice hot cup of coffee. Thank you to the people who provide the coffee for the show. That would be me. And I appreciate that. If you want to have a cup of coffee with me and talk about J.D. Vance in Europe, go pour yourself up a nice hot cup and let's get this party rolling. If you don't have a cup, though, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It has my face on it. It is fantastic. It looks great on a coffee table. It holds coffee quite nicely. And if you chuck it at somebody, it hurts when it hits them. So get one while they last. Also, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show a little bit of love, show a little bit of jangalanga my way. I'd appreciate that. Also, hit that CashApp, $ Jake Johnson Band. And if you want a place to hang out outside of the show, keep up with everybody, send pictures, videos, texts, and chats, and all that sort of thing, and keep up with all things Untethered Live Universe outside of the YouTube. You can do that at facebook.com/UntetheredLive Family. That's all one word, Untethered Live Family. So go check that out, and I appreciate you showing up. Back to the show. Yes, I am recovering from the flu and I can't breathe, so deal with it. I'm going to be gasping tonight, but that's how I roll, baby. Fab Daddy says he muffed the gameplay. That's what he said. He muffed the gameplay? What does that mean? Did he go to a soccer game and give away who the team wins or whatever before it happened? What happened? Explain that to me. Caucasian says, that speech. Thank you. He delivered a zinger. Oh, yes. Caucasian. J.D. Vance is quite an eloquentious communicator. He can definitely put his point across in a way that you can't argue with it, and I like that about him. I don't know that I like him. The problem with J.D. Vance is I don't know anything about him. Until Trump picked him as running mate, I had never heard of the guy. And apparently he wrote a book and it turned into a movie, but other than that, I don't think that's politically expedient to even know about all of that. But I don't know enough about his track record to know whether I like him or not. But every time I hear him speak, he sounds like a man that knows what he's talking about, and I appreciate that. And Zelensky wants Europe to start an army. Zelensky is a little tiny man in a very big game, and I don't think he has any pull or say in that situation. So let him talk. That's fine. He was an actor before he was a world leader. I'm just saying. Fab Daddy says he criticized all their countries. So, haven't they been criticizing us? I'm just asking for a friend. Does that change anything if he criticizes countries? If you're talking about J.D. Vance. If you're talking about Zelensky, again, he's a little tiny man in a very big game. Let him talk. He's just flapping his wings. He's not going to cause any actual trouble. Don't forget, if you're talking about Zelensky, the year that we spent watching him beg Biden for money at the White House dinners and stuff. He's not anybody. He's not the next Hitler, if that's what you're worried about. I know people on the right like to call him a Nazi because that's kind of what they are. You are talking about J.D. Vance. Okay. So, is it bad if he criticizes other countries? Have they not done anything criticize-worthy? I think we need some criticism in this world. I think criticism, healthy criticism, is a good thing. It causes you to reflect. If you don't reflect, you can't fix your own problems. It's a thing we all need to think about. What's the Bible say? Take care of the log in your eye before you worry about the mote in your brother's. Or in layman's terms, sweep your own back porch before you go messing in mine. Yeah. If everybody in the world would self-reflect a little bit, like once a week, just look back over the decisions you've made, the things you've done, the things you've said out loud, the things you've let people see you do, and just criticized it for yourself. I think that would be healthy for everybody, don't you? I try to do that. I'm not the world's perfect constructor of my behavior, but I do make an attempt, so that's a good thing, I guess. Pardon me. I'm still getting over the flu, and she's got the heater right in my face. I guess she thinks I'm going to melt or something. Could you turn that off, please? I've got 100 degrees worth of lights on my face, and she's got a heater right there, blasting me. I'm trying to breathe over here. Thank you for taking such good care of me, though. Walter Davis is in the house. What's up, Walter? How you doing, buddy? How is New Jersey this time of year? Fab Daddy says, I want to say Trump is doing exactly what was needed, so kudos for cleaning the shop, a.k.a. the government. Yes, see, that's something we can agree on. Regardless of what you think about Donald Trump, and I know a lot of people think a lot of things about Donald Trump, he spent a year with Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard running around the country, 3 cities a day if he could put it in, telling everybody exactly what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. And so far, it's happened just like he said it was going to. Maybe not exactly as quickly as he said it was going to, because you got to speak in hyperbole when you're on the stump. But he's getting things done the way he said he was going to get it done, and that's what the majority of the country voted for. They voted for that vision of America. So that's a good thing, I think. How refreshing is it to have a government that actually does what you think it should do? I love it. Amanda says, hi, Walter. Walter says, hey, Jake, Fab, Amanda, Sasquatch. Fab Daddy says, hey, Walter. Walter says, it's cold and wet in New Jersey. And wet in Pennsylvania, too. Well, it ain't raining here yet, thank God. I did spend the day in the water, though. I had to work today cleaning screens, and that's with a pressure washer, so spray all day long. Not fun. But it did not rain. I was promised a winter storm. I woke up this morning to a news broadcast talking about 2 winter storms coming down. We're going to get snow again in February. It's not even cold. Go figure. I'm not going to die, I promise. I will, but not right now. Fab Daddy says, I still worry about his ability in foreign affairs. Tariffs won't help inflation. How do you know that? Are you aware that the original design for this country was for the government to be 100% paid for by tariffs? There was no such thing as a income tax when this country was invented. So tariffs have always been the ideal. Now, what a tariff is, you get a lot of big words on the news and a lot of people bloviating and opining about meanings. Basically, it means I get a little bit when I send you my stuff and you get a little bit when you send me your stuff. That's what a tariff is. If I send you my goods and I will put a 50% tax on those goods, that's a tariff. But when you send me your goods, you put a 50% tax. Now, whoever plays that game the best or has the most money coming or going is the winner of the tariff game. Unfortunately, for the rest of the world, it's usually America. As for his foreign policies, look at the last 4 years he was in office. He met with every big leader there is. He was in a tent with some people from United Arab Emirates or whatever it's called over there, sword fighting and dancing. He was in China feeding koi fish. He was in Russia. He was in North Korea. He walked across the DMZ without an escort by himself with the leader of North Korea and stood there for 10 minutes looking at him. He didn't win a Nobel Peace Prize for that, but he should have. So what about foreign affairs are you actually worried about? That he's going to tariff China? I think they need tariffing, unless you want to speak Chinese in 5 years. Sky Scanner, hello, welcome to the show. Sky Scanner says, hello, Walter. It's cold in Wisconsin. America truckers, vote for Trump and freedom. Well, thank you, Sky Scanner. Who are you, where you're from, and what do you like about this administration? Walter says, Fab, the markup is so high that tariffs shouldn't make a difference. Yeah, I went to buy eggs today and they were $9. Thank you, Biden. Eggs. That's a carton of eggs. I remember when they were like 75 cents. $9 for a carton of eggs at the dollar store. Amanda says, hi, Sky, welcome. Walter says, hello, Sky Scanner. That's hard to say, by the way, Sky Scanner. Walter says Trump cooled off the world. Biden relit the fire. This is absolutely true. Those are domestic eggs. That's the Biden FDA's fault. Right. Exactly. See, I could go down to my neighbor's house who has chickens, but it's like a drug deal. You know, I got to go down there and put my money in a Ziploc bag and drop it on the ground, and then come back 30 minutes later, and there'll be a nondescript brown paper bag in the middle of the driveway, which may or may not contain, we're going to call poultry seeds. And I have to get out of Dodge before anybody notices that I'm there too long. That's kind of a scary way to live, but it could be done that way. But I just assume go to the dollar store and buy some eggs. They shouldn't cost $9. Fab Daddy says, if Trump makes Detroit a great auto-making city again, I will admit tariffs work, but we will see. Well, ask the coal industry, because the last time he was in the business of being president, he brought back fracking and coal to its former glory, and they were making money hand over fist until Biden got elected. Fab Daddy says, eggs are expensive because of bird flu, Jake. Wrong. I know that's what the story is, but that's not correct. Eggs are expensive because there was a massive kill-off of chickens who may or may not have had bird flu. Dana, she says, I love J.D. Vance's speech in Germany's Security Council. Epic. Hey, Dana, how are you? Greetings. Welcome to the show. Amanda says hi, by the way. Walter says, Temu is selling Chinese mini excavators for $4,000 with no shipping. A Caterpillar is around $20,000. Temu is selling excavators. That's how you know we should tariff China. Think about that. Just think about that. You can order an excavator from Temu. Dana says, hi, Amanda. Heart. Mr. P's here. He says, hey, gang. What's up, John? Good to see you. How are you? How's the world treating you, sir? And Dana, how are you? I'm still getting over the icky stuff, but I'm getting there. Linda Davis is here. She says, hi, all. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. How's the world treating you, and what do you think about this week in politics? Amanda says, hi, Mr. P and Linda. Temu will send you a Tonka truck, says Fab Daddy. They might. That's a problem with Temu. You can't really tell by the picture what exactly you're going to get, but you can be sure it'll be thinner than you think it is in the photograph. Whatever it is you buy. Dana says, hi, John, Mr. Pro, heart exclamation point. Aw. Mr. P says, 30 people watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, folks. That's right. Hit that like button and subscribe. We need all that we can get our hands on. Thank you very much, John. This is the show that is about you. So hit that like button. Make sure everybody finds out who you are. Caucasian Sasquatch says, if I buy a ranch, will you come ride fences with me? Me? I don't ride fences, baby. I'm on one side. I'll watch you ride a fence, though. I am not a fence sitter, milquetoast or otherwise. I am definitely a dark MAGA guy. I like it. And just to show you I'm a real badass, I wear these kind of sunglasses. Or these. Or those or those. I got a whole set. You just don't know. Depending on what mood I'm in. Pow. Miss B says, hi there, Dana. Heart and a smiley face with hearts in his eyes. Ooh. Caucasian says, I'm thinking cows in a quarry. That would be counterproductive. A quarry is by definition a hole, and if you put a bunch of cows in it, they're not going to be very good at milking. Walter says, Sasquatch, get a couple of horses and I'll show you how to herd the cattle. Right on. Or just get a border collie and sit back and watch the fun. Caucasian says, I'll call it Sasquatch Springs. I like it. Mr. P says, thanks, Jake. Very descriptive. I appreciate that. I'm trying. Caucasian says, in a desert, a hole is a valuable asset, only if it's not in direct sunlight. I'll stick with that. Very descriptive. Is that an insult or a compliment? I'm not sure. But I think I just got slapped. Walter says, border collies chase sheep and get rolled by cattle. Oh, I beg to differ. You go to Florida. They do it all the time. But you're right, they do chase sheep. Walter Davis says, hi, Mr. P. And Caucasian Sasquatch says it's a nice hole. It has water at the bottom. So you're going to drown all your cattle? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying it's a big hole with a little hole of water in the bottom of the big hole? I'm trying to picture your ranch. The hole has got me confused, to be honest with you, because ranch usually means rolling hills with grasslands. But the hole, it's more a crater than a ranch. I am trying to picture it, though. It's the hearts and the eyes with the smiley face. So thank you. I'm trying. I don't read hieroglyphics, so I got to make something up on the spot. My cheeks are a bit red, says Mr. P. Well, that's awesome that I can make you blush through a computer. That's fantastic. There's hope for us yet. We got, Caucasian says, we got to roll the hills, bud. Oh, you got to roll the hills yourself. I see. That may be labor intensive, especially if you're starting with a hole and you got to get material to roll the hills out with. You might just have a low piece of land. But if you think you can do it, go for it. Get some cows, stick them in a hole, see what happens. You might grow a cow tree. You never know. Not likely, but it's possible. Have you read the evolution theory? I think most things come on a tree, according to science. I've seen a diagram. I'm not sure, though. Mr. P says, smiley face. And Dana says, a smiling face with hearts. Oh, I thought those were herpes. See? Looks like a smiley face with herpes. And Caucasian says, nah, seriously. Okay. Well, if you're serious, I think that's a great idea. If you can pull it off, do it, man. I'm struggling to get a bathroom finished, but if you can buy a piece of property and put a ranch on it, power to you. I'm proud of you. That's great. I'm not doing that well on YouTube. Danny says, huggy face. Aw. Hugging face. Isn't that called kissing? Hugging face. Caucasian says, it is 200 acres with an old quarry. I don't know how deep, but deep enough for standing water year round. Well, that's a place you can water cattle, I guess. Especially if the quarry's full. Fab Daddy says, I lived in Napa and I enjoyed hearing tourists call vineyards orchards. Those damn grape trees. Oh, kissing face. Oh, Dana's giving me an instruction in hieroglyphics here, so I'm learning a lot. And Mr. P is contradicting and saying, this is a kissy face. Well, I think either way you do it, it's fun. Yeah, one's a face blowing a kiss, and the other one's actually doing the kiss. So that's a preemptive kiss and a kiss. I'm old. Back in my day, we just called it stalking. Caucasian says, I'm guessing the water is probably bad, but I have years of experience with cleaning water. Well, yeah, if it's standing water, not moving, it is bad. You can't drink that. But if you can move it, you can clean it. Fab Daddy says, herpes. Haha. Could be his peas. You never know. You never know how you get those things. Dana says, hi, Walter Davis. It has been an interesting couple of weeks, though. I've been watching the news, trying to keep up with it, and so much has happened, I can't even remember everything that has happened to talk about it. I try keeping notes, but I don't have time to do that, so that don't work out well. Caucasian says, so I will move it with aquaponics writ large. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Fab Daddy says, from a quarry, it probably has high metal content. Probably. It probably has quite a few chemicals in it because they use chemicals to get down there. Sure, lots of heavy metals, I'm sure, says Caucasian. And Dana says, Jake, waving hands. Oh, it's a waving hand. Well, it kind of looks like two hands clapping, but I can't see anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Oh, it's a waving hand, though. I got it. I'll remember that. At first, the first time I saw it, I thought it was a turkey. Remember kindergarten when you used to make the little turkey? But turns out it's not a turkey. People are confused when you say, Jake, waving hand turkey. What? So I had to drop that one. And I used to read all of them, but that got very cumbersome. So I had to kind of scale back on it. I used to try to make up something funny for every emoji that I saw. And it takes too much time. I never get to the end of the chat if I do that. Caucasian says, I checked. It is sandstone quarry. It was not a mine. Probably some heavy equipment at the bottom. Well, if they got to the bottom, it had heavy equipment. They didn't do it with a shovel, I promise. That looks exactly like the other one, Dana. How is one clapping and one waving? They look the same. Only one looks like a turkey and the other one looks like a turkey in flight. But they both look like turkeys. Mr. P says, me too. Lots of areas I've been paying special attention to. Yep, I recall the turkey. April used to get frustrated with you because you called it a turkey. Yep. Truth be told, she's the reason I make up funny things about hieroglyphics because it's funny to watch her melt down. Walter says, Sasquatch, direct market the beef as heavy metal farms. Yeah, sell the beef as intoxicated. Call it heavy metal beef. I mean, be honest about it. You'd be surprised who would buy it. I like it. Put it in a wooden crate and burn it with a torch so it looks all metal. Put a couple bullet holes in it and just send it out in the mail. Don't even put ice on it. Just ship it out. I think you'd make a mint for a couple of days anyway. Until somebody got the rancid meat or Parkinson's disease. Sorry. Caucasian says, Sasquatch Springs or Viracocha Farms? Ew. I will encapsulate whatever's in the water like the EPA says. Yeah, you got to send it to somebody, though, because if you just put it in a capsule, that doesn't tell you anything. You got to send it to a lab and have them, examine the water and find out what's in it. I am drinking. That makes two of us. What are you drinking? Walter says, use the image of a flying V guitar as the brand on the cattle. I like it. I like where your head's at, Walter. That's good. And Fab Daddy says, cheers, Caucasian. Danny says, I don't care too much about turkey meat. The breasts are very, very dry. I agree, Dana. I don't like turkey either as a general rule, but I'll make an exception for a turkey sandwich with thin sliced deli turkey. I like that. But I don't like turkey from the bird. I know it's from the bird, but it's thin sliced in a deli and it's moist for some reason. But if you cook a turkey in an oven, it's never moist. It's always dry. I agree with you. You eat turkey as a matter of, what do you call it? Pageantry around here. We eat turkey on Thanksgiving and Christmas because that's when you eat turkey. Other than that, we don't have turkey. Caucasian says, once it's dried to a casting, I can ship it wherever they say. Right on. And Caucasian says, rotisserie a turkey, moist. Probably much better, yes. I don't know how they do it in the deli. I just know that when you buy it in the deli, it's delicious, and it's thinly sliced, and I don't like the big hunks of dry meat. It's not good. Bake a chicken. I fry chicken. Dana says, Fab Daddy, smiley face. Mr. P says, it's okay. It's good for an occasional meal. I like the dark meat better on whole turkeys. I like honey turkey, white meat. Delicious. I have had a couple of turkeys in my life that were cooked well. I don't know how they did it. I can't, give you any advice on how to do it because I'm not a turkey cook, but I have had a couple that were decent. Most of the time, though, 95% of the time, turkey is dry and uneatable by itself. That's why God invented cranberry sauce, so that you can drown the turkey in something moist. At least the cranberry sauce will make your taste buds shoot off in your mouth and you think you're eating something moist. Now, there's an idea. Fab Daddy says, inject duck fat into the turkey. I thought ducks were lean like quail. So, where's the fat at? Wouldn't it be better to put pork fat or something in it? An animal that actually has fat? I don't know. That's a question. I'm not criticizing your statement. I don't know. Caucasian says, bro, do not tempt me. Right on. Fab Daddy says, brine. Brine, that's salt water, right? Take a salt compound and rub on it. Make it with a little bit of water and a whole lot of salt. Mr. P says, deep fried turkeys. My cousin does. The deep fried turkeys that my cousin does are injected. Yeah, I have seen people deep fry turkeys, and it is a dangerous, dangerous sport. I do not recommend doing that. Even though it's delicious, don't do that. It's just not worth it. Because the chances of it blowing up in your face are not 0. Hell, it's not 20. It's like 45%. Walter says, so they make turkey sausage. Think pork-shaped turkey would sell. I don't know. I wouldn't think so, because people like sausage because it's spicy and porky. I don't think you can get that with turkey. I think that'd be weird. And what do I know? I'm Southern. Caucasian says, no, ducks are very fatty. Okay, I didn't know. That's what I said. I thought duck was lean like a quail. I don't know. Wasn't a criticism. I genuinely don't know. Mr. P says he does it outside. That won't stop the grease from burning your skin off. Inside or outside, it doesn't matter. Don't do that. Caucasian says Creole butter turkey. Cajun turkey. Interesting. Fab Daddy says soak it overnight in a bucket of brine. Now, I think that will probably work because they do that with other meats like brisket and stuff like that. And so that works for that. I don't know. I'm just not a turkey connoisseur, I guess. Caucasian says you got to be careful, right? I dry brine duck. That mean you rub it on the duck before you put it in the oven or in the deep fryer. Colin Hill, the middle, says, hey, Jake, I'm going to have to cut some tile soon. Interesting. What are you going to cut it with? Why are you going to cut it? Did the tile offend you in some way? Mr. P says, talking about foods is a never-ending death trap. Yeah, because you get hungry after you talk about food. I'm thinking about eating right now. Walter said, and by the way, eating is how you die. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. If you don't eat, you don't die. I didn't know if you knew that. Walter Davis says, a good brine is water with salt added until eggs float. That's a good idea. Although I'm pretty sure eggs float anyway. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But anytime you add salt to water, the buoyancy of the water changes, or the density of the water changes. Therefore, anything in the water with buoyancy will alter its ability to float. That's why, you can float in the Red Sea. Or is it the Dead Sea? The one with salt in it. That's also why you can float in a non-sensory tank. What do you call that thing? I can't think of what it's called. Haptic tank? Is that what it is? I can't remember. Anyway, you float in that thing, weightless. And if you're in there, presumably with no stimuli, it's dark, it's quiet, and you're floating, and the water is the same temperature as your body, apparently you feel like you're in space. I've never been in one, but that's what they say. You can actually hallucinate in that state. Walter says, hi, Colin. Amanda says, hi. Caucasian says, facts, Walter. Dana says, uh-oh. Hold on. A bunch of things just went crazy. Dana says, I loved the white feathered domesticated goose meat. I've never had that. It is delicious and very tender. The wild multicolored geese are totally different flavored of any kind of other meats, and I don't care about that one. I've never eaten geese. In fact, around here it's kind of weird to think about eating geese because they're around the lakes and they're pretty, and you don't eat pretty things. But I know in other parts of the world they do eat geese, but I've never tried it. I would think they would be gamey, but if you say they're delicious, I would like to try that. Colin says, for some lady that owns a venue and I work for her. Well, that's good. Amanda deleted a bunch of messages. Don't come in here with that nonsense, buddy. Whoever you are with no name or one that I can't read. Danny says, white feathered. I got it. I was with you. Walter says it has to be a fresh egg. Rotten eggs float in fresh water. Okay. Monks disagrees, says Caucasian. Fat Daddy says turkey eggs. Red Sea. Thank you. I couldn't remember which one it was. One of them has a lot of salt content in it. And the joke is that the salt decreases over time, which is why if you go back in time, Jesus walked on water. That's why he could do it. That's a joke. It's not true, but it is funny. And the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea. It might be the Dead Sea. I can't remember which one it is, but there's one that has a high salt content, and people go there because they can float in the water. Don't have to know how to swim. Caucasian says, has worms. What has worms? Mr. P says, hello, terror. You've been warned. Oh, Lord. I guess that's what those symbols are, tarot cards. I don't know. They just look like white boxes to me. I can't tell what they are. Sensory deprivation tank. Thank you, Fab Daddy. I could not think of what that thing was called. Anyway, if you get in one of those things, the water's the same temperature as your body temperature. And it's high salt content, so you're like laying on top of the water. You're not in the water. So you don't feel like you're floating. You feel like you're in absence of space, right? It's pretty interesting from the way it's been described to me. I've never actually been in one, so I don't know. But it sounds interesting. Also sounds expensive. That's the kind of hobby that only rich people have. Patty Donahue says, hey, I'm here. Hey, Patty, how are you, sweetheart? Welcome back to the show. There's a lot of trolls coming in tonight. Amanda, get your hammer out. Walter says, hi, Patty. And Linda Davis says, hi, Patty. Hey, Linda, you hadn't been talking hardly at all tonight. What's up? Are you mad at me? You don't call, you don't write? I don't know if you're mad or in a ditch. You got to say something. What, you don't have an opinion on bird poultry? Those are the same thing. You don't have an opinion on salty birds? Did you turn that heater off? Jesus Christ, it's hot in here. It's got it so hot in here, it's like I'm in a sauna. Who needs a sensory deprivation tank when you're in a sauna? Never let them see you sweat, Jake. Patty says hello and thank you. And Amanda says hi. And Linda says hi. Caucasian says, wow, Banhammer, very determined. She doesn't play that nonsense. You're not going to do that in here. Mr. P got a couple too. Go, Mr. P. Mr. P says, I've never heard of goose meat domesticated. I mean, I wouldn't know where to get it here. I've never heard of it either. I thought it was a strange idea, but apparently they do it in other places. Apparently, if you're in China, you can get scorpion on a stick. I don't know why you would want to eat that, but they do. So, I'll never turn down foreign cuisine. I'll try everything once. If I like it, I'll try it again. If I really like it, I'll put a label on it and sell it. But, I just never even thought about eating a goose. It's like a dog. Why would you eat a goose? Colin says, hang on, my chat jumped. What the heck is going on with the chat? I think I found it. Yeah. Colin says, Jake, I have a raw chuck of quartz with impurities still in it. Quartz. Yeah, quartz and quartz are two different things. Just so you know. I know what you're talking about, though. And that's interesting. What are you going to do with it? And do you know what quartz with a Z is used for? Take a look at your watch. Caucasian says, I take full responsibility. That's all right. I don't mind. Everybody that's got a wrench ain't got one for no reason. So it's okay. Mr. P says, Caucasian, why inside him? I must have missed one because I don't know what that's in reference to. Dana says, great job, Amanda. Thumbs up. Yeah, she's on it. She never misses a beat. I hardly ever even see those things. Amanda says, I hid them completely, and thanks, Dana, hun. Caucasian says, I did not mean to. It's all right. Caucasian got a couple, too. Colin says, I love rocks, crystals, and stones and fossils. Me, too. Except 3 of those things are the same thing. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but you should be. Rocks, stones, and fossils are all just rocks. Mr. P says Caucasian unhid him somehow. Did he? I think they both hit him at the same time, and one may have canceled the other one out. That's possible, I guess. Caucasian says, we did it at the same time. Yep, see. Fab Daddy says, how much are squab eggs? Squab. I don't know, but I watched that 2.5 Man episode, and that was quite funny. But I still don't know what a squab is. It's funny to say, though. Man, that's a deep cut, Fab Daddy. That was like, 10, 15 years ago. Colin says, Jake, what do you think about a swastika? I think it's a symbol that first appeared in India a long time ago, and it's a symbol for peace. And then later in history, it was conscripted by a guy with a mustache, a mean mustache, if you know what I'm talking about. And he meant something else by it. And then a little bit later on in history, the Indians tried to take it back, and it didn't work. So that's what I think about a swastika. Other than that, I don't care. Dana got a couple. Go Dana. Walter says, Colin, ever hear of St. Clair fossils? St. Clair. I've heard of those. Wasn't there a gas station called St. Clair? Isn't that where the idea of fossil fuels came from? I seem to remember a big green dinosaur. Colin says, no, Walt. Caucasian says, I want to smoke this one bud. Smoke it. You do you, boo. I'm smoking this one. Colin says, what color are they? What color are what? Swastikas? Typically white on a red background with black outline. But I've seen all kinds. In both directions, by the way. But in the other direction is a swastika. If it's right, it's a swastika. If it's left, it's a swastika. I bet you didn't know that. You won't read that in history books. Caucasian says, LOL. Mr. P says, I think that's what that is. Might be a guy puking, I'm not sure. Yeah, he does have a green shirt on, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But Caucasian says, I will abdicate. Walter says, they have a white outline of the paint. Only ones in the world like it. There you go. Linda says, I have a migraine. Oh, no. That's horrible. Well, you need to be in a very dark room. And if you have a belt, wrap that around your forehead and pull it tight. And be quiet for about an hour. Maybe that'll help. Ain't much you can do about a migraine but suffer. Carla says, Jake, are you married? Sometimes. Thank you for asking. Amanda says, you will be cold again in 10 minutes. Well, that's how fevers work, honey. But right now I'm dying. I can't breathe. So turn the heat off, please. Mr. P says, Let Amanda do it. I have no control. I just have a request. When I start wilting, you'll understand. Caucasian says, wait, there's people near you? Yes. Right around the corner in the control room. The bedroom. Where have you been? This isn't a new development. I married this woman 35 years ago. Sorry, my chat jumped again. Walter says, they are in black shale next to coal veins. What are? I must have missed some chats here because I don't know what you're referring to. Again, it's because my chat keeps jumping and I scroll up to find the nearest thing that I just read and then I start from there. Sometimes I miss one and I apologize if I did. I'm much too lazy to go searching, though. Caucasian says, I hear scorpions taste like shrimp. I wouldn't know. I don't eat poisonous things. But if you go to China, you can get one on a stick, which is interesting. How do they get it on a stick? I don't know. I guess you hold it by its tail and jug the stick in them. I don't know. Walter says, only found in my hometown, St. Clair. I'll send you one if you want. Yes, please do. Caucasian says, geese are evil. Yes, they are. But they're not really evil. They're just territorial. The problem is we seem to think that we belong next to a lake because we're always walking around lakes. If you go to any town in America, in downtown area, there's a lake and people are walking around it. Well, that's where geese live and they don't like it. And they have made complaints and people don't listen. They keep walking around and around and around. And how would you feel if some geese started just walking around your house? How would you feel? At what point would you start shooting? How many geese would it take walking around your house continuously before you had an attitude? So maybe you can appreciate the geese's perspective a little more now. You should be ashamed of yourself. Bigot. Mr. P says Caucasian was accidentally unhiding the terror guy. Oh, okay. Yeah, because if two people do it, it cancels it out. That's YouTube logic. They have a algorithm that can tell people whether or not to watch my show or when I'm online, but they don't have an algorithm to tell that two people are canceling the same person. Colin says, keep the chunk. Yes, you should keep the chunk. Absolutely. It's used to tell time. No, it's not used to tell time. It's used as a battery. It's a power source. When you squeeze a quartz crystal, it releases electricity. So they use it to power a clock and other things. It's in computer chips. It's in all kinds of stuff. You can even, at some capacity, I'm not sure how, but in some capacity, you can store information on quartz crystal, like a hard drive. Caucasian says, inside is autocorrect for unhide. Got it. Don't unhide. If they're being hidden, they're being hidden for a reason. Fab Daddy says, Colin, it's bad luck to take rocks from Hawaii. Why? I've never heard that before. Bad luck to eat the sand in Hawaii, but I don't know about taking rocks. Is it a rock if it comes out of a volcano? I don't know. Dana says, we all work together like a great team on this crazy terror weirdo. This is the first time I personally removed someone from the chat. Well, Dana, thank you. Congratulations on your victory. And you wield that wrench like a champion. And I appreciate you. Pardon me. Yeah. Yes, I did. Much better. I can talk now. Kind of. Thank you for subscribing, Straloka Karki. Straloka Karki. That's an interesting name. I like it. But thank you for the subscription. I hope you enjoy the show. Caucasian says, LOL, determined. Right on. Mr. P says, I don't know how he's coming back so fast. Because I think you can only time them out for a period of time. I don't think you can actually ban them from the channel anymore. I don't know for sure. Caucasian says, a squab is a pigeon. It's also a funny episode of 2.5 Men. Squab! You don't remember that? Why would you eat a pigeon, by the way? Pigeons are like homeless people for birds. Would you eat a homeless person? Fab Daddy says squabs are pigeons. Colin says, yes, Walt, I want one. You want a squab? Mr. P says, yeah, Dana, I try not to pay them any mind. When they're ruining the chat, it's another story. Right on. Yeah, there's definitely a time to delete someone, and there's a time to let them say their piece, because a lot of times people will say things, especially if they just disagree with me, that's fine. I don't ever stop that. If you got a disagreement, that's fine. But you come in here talking trash, talking dirty, immediately. There's no room for that. There's a lot of ladies in here, and I don't appreciate that. And they don't either, so we'll get rid of them fast. If they got something to say about me, though, that's okay. I can take it. I'm tough. I promise I ain't going to lose any sleep over it. Caucasian says, so squab meat is expensive. I would imagine. Most things that liberals do tend to be expensive. And you can just imagine that whoever decided to eat a pigeon was a liberal, because there's plenty of deer. I'm just saying. Whoever decided to eat a squab was the same person that decided that escargot and caviar was a good idea. Caucasian says, but eggs are pigeons, and no distinction I can find on what kind. No distinction I can find on what kind. But eggs are pigeons. Eggs are not pigeons. Eggs are eggs. They might become pigeons, but they're eggs. What are we saying? What you're saying is there's only one kind of squab. You can't tell if there's different kinds of squab. Gotcha. Mr. P says there's a new gifts section with peas. I have no idea. What does that mean? Are you talking about in YouTube? Yeah, they add things occasionally. I don't know what it does. Try it and find out. Might be a good thing. Although, CashApp works too. Walter says, Sinclair gas station, not St. Clair. Okay. So there is a difference, but you know what I was talking about. You understand why I made that mistake. Because you were talking about fossils, and that's kind of where that whole thing came from in the 80s. Is a bud a cigarette? No, Colin. No, it is not. It's a left-handed cigarette for left-handed cigarette smokers. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Caucasian says, that bud comment was not me. Troll activity. There's another Caucasian Sasquatch in here. Maverick says, hi, I'm back. It's been a while. Nice to see you, Maverick. How you doing? How's the world treating you, sir? Walter says, hi, Maverick. And Amanda says, hi, Maverick. Fab Daddy says, send me all buds, please. I'll take the troll activity over this way. Dana says, Mr. P, exactly. This is how I see it, too. When they are annoying like this one, we need to step in. Right on. That's right. Just because you have the power don't mean you should use it unless it's necessary. And when it's necessary, you kind of know it's necessary. And Caucasian says, oh, punctuation problems. Right on. It could be that. It could be other things. Caucasian says, I want to smoke this one, bro, bud, brethren. I see. Bud isn't buddy. Got it. I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. Mr. P says, sometimes. Caucasian says, Mr. P, have we met? I don't know. Mr. P, Caucasian, Mr. P. Mr. P is a long-time watcher. He is a fantastic dude. He's very smart and very fun to talk to. Sorry, my chat jumped again. All this deleting people is just big gaps in the chat. And then it tries to catch up and it throws me way off. Colin says, Fab, I don't care that it's bad luck to take rocks from Hawaii. Have you ever been to Hawaii? Matthew Swan says, W. X, your turn. Mr. P says, I don't know. I think so. I think you've met. Amanda says, hi, Matthew, welcome. Caucasian says, oh, okay. I told you not to call X's. I didn't call X's. X's called me. If you're referring to the woman I married 35 years ago, comment. Colin says, I have not been there that long. I've not been here that long. Are you in Hawaii right now, Colin? That's weird. I don't know why, but I pictured you like in Georgia. Something like that. You've got a sweaty, greasy kind of personality. Like a hot day in Georgia. Like after working on a car all day. That's kind of how I see you in my mind. Walter says, hi, Matthew. And Mr. P says, I didn't know you were married until recently. Oh. Mr. P, I'm a collector. Every time I look away from the chat, I look back and it's somewhere else. I'm sorry. Now it's going backwards. I don't even know how I got there. I don't know how that happened. Here we are. Got it. Caucasian says, Colin is fine. Yes, he is. LOL. Mr. P says, not my business. Of course it's your business. I don't hide anything from you guys. I keep nothing on my chest. If you want to know it, all you got to do is ask. I'll tell you. Caucasian says, Jake does marriage in threes. Sometimes, yeah. It's not my fault, though. Honest to God, if I had my way about it, I'd still be married to the first one I ever married. But it didn't work out that way. Other things happened. Life happened. And, you know, you adjust quickly sometimes. Matthew Swan says, why is nobody talking about the UFOs over New Jersey? Because there are no UFOs over New Jersey, Matthew. Those are drones. We have the technology. If you don't believe that, go to Google and type in 2025 China drone and look at the videos that pop up. Caucasian says, rum. Right on. Walter says, Matthew, where in New Jersey are you? Colin says, and I have memory issued and movement issues ever since my concussion, Caucasian. That's a very alliterative sentence. I have memory issues and movement issues ever since my concussion, Caucasian. I don't know if you can see that, but as a songwriter, that hits every beat. Caucasian says, I would eat geese until I am full. I would probably eat anything if I was hungry. But as a general rule, I don't think about eating geese. I also don't think about eating cabbage, but that's a thing you can't eat. Colin says, Matthew, those ain't UFOs. Those are angels. No, they're not angels. I see what you're saying, and you might be right about the idea of things that people see being angels. But what was over New Jersey was drones looking for nuclear warheads prior to the inauguration of President Trump, because 11 nuclear warheads disappeared in Europe a few days prior to that. And they thought, since they didn't know where they went, they might be headed for D.C. So watch the news, folks, and believe the opposite of everything you hear. Caucasian says, demons or machine elves? No, not all of us have tried ayahuasca. Dana says, Amanda is doing a great job cleaning this place up. Yes, she is. The only person she hasn't banned yet is me. And that's coming, I'm sure. And she does a great job, and I'm grateful for it. Fab Daddy says, geese like the golf course. I had a goose squat on my balls. I will allow you a moment to rephrase that sentence before I tear into it, because you know where I'm going. Walter says, there was snow flying around in the sky in New Jersey. Yeah, I bet. You mean today? Like flurries? That's interesting, because I woke up this morning to a news broadcast that was saying we were going to get snow again because of some big storm that was happening up north, and it's not even cold today, nor did it rain, and they said that was going to happen too. So maybe it's coming and just ain't got here yet. Mr. P says, a mother goose chased my cousin into the lake with his phone and his wallet in his pocket. $800 phone. Went back the next day, and the goose was never seen again. I bet that goose worked for Android. How do I know? Because Androids don't cost $800. Amanda says, thanks, Dana. I try to stay on top of it, and I keep up with everything. And you do a very good job of it. I can't even keep up with the chat, and I'm a professional. Caucasian says, I must go be Sasquatch elsewhere. Well, go enjoy your show. Scream into the void like the wind, baby. And thank you for dropping by. Fab Daddy says, later, Caucasian Sasquatch. And Dana says, Amanda, heart. Caucasian says, Fab, much love. As usual. Mr. P says, throwing out the trash is how you stop the place from getting stinky. There's other ways, yeah, but you're right. Are you talking about the chat? Okay, that makes sense now. I got it. Linda says, good night, Sasquatch. And Linda, I am sorry about your migraine headache. I don't suppose you got any Midol nearby. That might help a little. I don't know if it would, but it might. It does have migraine fighting technology. But so do goody powders. You have to roll the dice, I guess. Mr. P says, good night, Sasquatch. Caucasian says, Hawaii reveres the land. As in the physical parts of, so yeah, the Oahu course, I think. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Oahu is the big island, as far as I understand it. And it's also the least populated, maybe. I might have that wrong. It has cliffs on it, I know that. Caucasian says, Mr. P gets my seal of approval. Well, I appreciate that, but he's already got it. See that J tag by his name? That's a seal. Mr. P says, well, thanks, man. I try. Right on. Fab Daddy says, it's not worth much, Mr. P. The seal of approval? Sure it is. Anytime you get an endorsement from a fellow colleague, it's a wonderful thing. It's when they talk bad about you that's a problem. Walter says, pigeons are not homeless. They are squatters wherever they want. But they are interesting birds. You might have a point there. Would you eat a squatter? I think the point still lands, but, maybe I'm a little harsh on pigeons. Could be. All the brrr, brrr just gets on my damn nerves. Have to step over them in the street and always asking for money. Caucasian says, oof. Patty says, I haven't read any bad on this channel at all, I don't think. Well, that's fantastic. That's great. Thank you, Patty. I hope there is no bad on this channel. Dana says, Jake, 100%. Thank you, Dana, and God bless you. Caucasian says, Fab Daddy shooting shots. Ooh. Dana says, hi, Patty. Wavy hand. Fab Daddy says, I got my sparring gear on. I thought I would take a few shots. Well, apparently the conversation went in a different direction. I put a title. I think very hard about the title, and I put it up every week, and nobody follows it. But I'm a slave to your conversation. So whatever you bring up is where I'm going to go. So I give you the platform. If this is what you want to do with it, it's yours to do with it. If you want shots, say something Democrat-y, and we'll see what happens. Caucasian says, but I still love him. He knows not what he says. Forgive him. Are you quoting Jesus? Patty Donahue says, hi, Dana. Are you still in France? Yes, that's a good question. Have you left France to go back home yet, or are you still there hanging out with dear old dad? Caucasian says, Dana. Dana says, Patty, yes, I am. I will be leaving in 2 weeks from now. Cool. That's quite a vacation. Mr. P says, I hope you stay in touch, Dana. I hope so, too. Patty says, I think you must live an exciting life, Miss Dana. She's a very learned, very educated, very well-traveled lady, so I'm sure she's right up there with Laura Croft. Colin says, I used rocks to wind down after the day. Coffee would probably go down smoother. But you do you, man. It's probably less expensive, too. Caucasian says, Patty. Mr. P says, yep, I'm Greek. Greek. You're great Greek. I got you. Mr. P says, Dana says, Mr. P, dear John, I will stay in touch for sure. Thumbs up and a smiley face with hands. You know where they are. Edward Higgins. Hey, it's been a while since I watched. Well, hello, Edward. Welcome back. Good to see you. How's the world treating you and what's going on in your life? Mr. P says, good, Dana. Smiley face with hands. You know what they are. Dana says, Patty, yes, I sure do live an exciting life. And Amanda says, hi, Edward. Welcome back. Edward says, what are we talking about tonight? Whatever you want to talk about. I'm winding down. It's 9:46, so whatever you want to discuss, the floor is yours. Mr. P says, I've never been married. I've been engaged twice. Well, I was young and in a hurry, and I had a job that afforded me the attention. So I got married a few times. And in equal measure got divorced a few times. And so that's where the lines are. I'm only 27 years old. Look at my face. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. I hope that you get married, and I hope that you get married to the one that's going to be the right one, and that it lasts until you fade out of this world together. That's the ideal, and that's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, not seen a lot these days. So if you can just find somebody you can stand for more than 5 minutes, that'd be doing half the journey right there. Caucasian says, Edward. Mr. P says, so technically, if I were female, I could still wear a white gown for a wedding. Ha ha ha. Well, you could do that as a male. It'd be weird, but you could do it. Or so I've been told. No. A white gown signifies virginity, and most of the women who wear white gowns should not be wearing white gowns, but it is a style, so enjoy. If you want to wear a white gown, I endorse that. Patty said, Mr. P says, hi, Edwards. It's been kind of an any and all night. Whatever you want to talk about, throw it out there. We tried politics. It didn't work. Everybody wanted to talk about quarries and UFOs and duck meat. Goose meat, excuse me. Walter says, Hunterdon County, New Jersey is where the family farm is. Hunterdon. How do you say that? Hunterdon? Or Hunterdon? Hunterdon is a different guy. Danny says, Mr. P, LOL, John. Technically. Mr. P says, I'm glad someone likes it, Dana. Patty says, Walter, do you know where Little Falls is? Little Falls, New Jersey? Dana says, John, thumbs up and smiley faces. Mr. P says, I've been to New Jersey several times, Walter. My sister used to live there. Cool. Walter says, yep, I know where Little Falls is. Walter says, I grew up in New Jersey. I'm glad I have a Pennsylvania address now. Right on. I've never been to New Jersey, but I saw that show on TV with the guy with the six-pack, and I don't want to go. But I'm guessing it ain't all like that. And if it was, that'd be weird. Walter says, where did you grow up, Mr. P? Where did your sister live, Mr. P? Patty says, my nephew is an attorney in Little Falls. Nice. Walter says, Little Falls is south of the farm, closer to my boat at the shore. Nice. Mr. P says, it's beautiful out there, though, Walter. I've seen a herd of 300 deer there, right off the interstate. 300 deer in one place? Did you have your gun? I would have. I'd have been firing off like Ted Nugent out there. I got one. Yeah. Mr. P says she lived in Princeton, went to school there. Danny says, Mr. P, John, I've been in the state of Indiana, in Indianapolis. First time in the U.S., and the last time also. Strictly business. Very nice city. You should see Atlanta. That's a good cup of coffee. Thank you. Mr. P says she also attended Pitt and Carnegie Mellon. Mellon? Carnegie Mellon? I don't know what that is. Carnegie Mellon? Carnegie Mellon? I don't know what that is. Caucasian says, gotta bounce. Peace out, buddy. Have a good night. Mr. P says, never been there, Dana. I heard it was nice, though. I live near Pittsburgh. Mr. P says, good night, Caucasian Sasquatch. Walter says, Princeton is 20 minutes from the farm. My brother lives there. The farm is just south of Flemington. Caucasian says, I love each of you. We love you too. Thank you for being here tonight. Fab Daddy says, I'm going to retract the message just to screw with Jake. But it will give him a good place to look for when his chat jumps, which it has. Mr. P says, interesting. Been years since I've been to Princeton. Lots of good memories, including driving to the beach. Nice. I bet the beach is weird in New Jersey. It doesn't strike me as an ocean kind of place. Mr. P says, also, New York, Walter. I went there several times. I have no desire to go to New York. None whatsoever. There's nothing there I want. Nothing at all. If you paid me, I would not go to New York. Fab Daddy says, Democrats rule. No one can Karen like a Democrat. This is true. I can't argue with that. Yeah, they do the best Karen for sure. Absolutely. Danny says, Caucasian Sasquatch, thumbs up, and taco. Is that a chicken? What is that? It's handshaking. Got it. Looks like a chicken. Mr. P says, no one can whine like a Dem, you mean? I think that's what he was getting at. Fab Daddy says, Dems just want to serve the crap out of you. Right. They just want you to serve the crap out of them. Mr. P says, no judgment here, Jake. I had many plans in my day. I had to catch myself those 2 times. I wasn't seeing the whole picture, luckily enough to have good mentors. Well, listen, I did not have a male role model growing up. I had to be the male role model for myself. And so my idea of what a relationship was based on what I saw in movies. So that's what I went for. And I went for it a lot because I was a very zealous young man. And I've learned over the years that's not how life really is. But it took a little while. But I'm getting there. I don't see any future plans to marry and divorce. Pretty much staying. I went to a point and then I backed up a little, and that's where I'm staying. Walter says, hang on. New Jersey has everything from beaches to mountains, farms and cities, and terrible state government. Sounds like an interesting place that I don't want to go. But that also sounds like North Carolina a lot. Mr. P says, New Jersey had a decent beautification projects. I don't know what that is. Is that where they take the regular projects and spruce them up? Because it is more flat and has tourism money, I think. I don't know. Walter says, New Jersey never beautified anything, just sent money to donors. See? It's where you take regular projects and spruce them up. Walter says, private money did things. Right on. Colin says, have you heard of Schellenberg, Texas, Jake? I've heard of Texas. I'm sure there's a place there called Schellenberg. But I have not particularly heard of it. I don't think. It's possible. Oh, Mr. P hits me with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Mr. P. I appreciate that. He says, I'll do more when I can. I'm saving money. Well, you save money, buddy. Thank you for the thought. And God bless you for that. Mr. P says, Carnegie Mellon, or however it's spelled, it's 2 names of Pittsburgh's past. Carnegie was a steel magnate. I know who Carnegie was. I never heard the other name. Colin says, have you ever heard of that place? Not particularly, but I know that there's a spot called Texas. Why? What happened in Schellenberg, Texas? Walter says, New Jersey has great beaches. Lots of lakes, too. Right on. Mr. P says, oh, I don't know, Walter. I always assumed it was the reason. Now I know the truth. Thanks, Walter. Jake, this is a handshake, not a taco or a chicken taco. Smiley face. I know. I was teasing you. Walter says, I did community projects. They were all a waste of time. Right on. Most community projects are. Dakota's here. He says, hi, friends. Hey, Dakota, what's up? Walter says, hi, Dakota. Mr. P says, hi, Dakota. And Amanda says, hi, Dakota. What's up, Dakota? Good to see you. Sorry, I'm recovering from the flu and my brain isn't working entirely. Mr. P says, better late than never, Jake. I appreciate you, buddy. Dakota says, hey, Amanda. Fab Daddy says, how can we get your 2 cents if the penny no longer exists? Are we talking about getting rid of the penny? I haven't heard this one. That would make my penny jar a lot smaller. I don't know if I like that idea. What would happen if the world had no pennies? Well, you couldn't charge $5.99 for anything anymore. That might be a good thing, actually. Now that I think about it, I think you're onto something. Walter says, you do Wang to come up and do, you do want to come up to do a harbor concert off the boat, Jake. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. That's not in New Jersey. That's on a boat. Dakota says, hey, Walter. Colin says, look it up. Why? I've got things to do. Tell me what it is, and if I'm interested, I'll look it up. Amanda says, thanks, Mr. P, and God, the Son of Jesus, saves, says I. Hello, person whose name I'm not going to call you, because there's only one person who has that name, and you're not it. But welcome to the show, and how are you? I will call you son. I'll call you that. Amanda says, hi, son. See? Walter says, hi, son. Mr. P says, they were the billionaires of the Victorian era. Carnegie and Mellon, gotcha. Dakota says, I'm sick. I'm surprised. Me too. Mr. P says, lots of people are sick, Dakota. Lots of people are sick right now. Dakota says, I'm doing good. I'm sick. It's going around for sure, says Mr. P. And Fab Daddy says, yep, no more printing of pennies. If this is true, this is going to change the dollar store forever. Mr. P says, I love looking for wheat pennies. And Dana says, son, welcome. Fab Daddy says, Executive Order 256, signed by Trump, stopping the production of pennies. Nice. There may be a method to that madness. I'll have to look into it. I haven't heard that one yet. Mr. P says, amen, Dana. Amen. John H. is here. He says, Konowichi, everyone. Konnichiwa. I saw Konnichiwa. Meow now. What do you call me? Amanda says hi. Mr. P says, hey, John. Walter says, hi, John. Linda Davis says, they say it takes 2 cents to print 1 penny, so they are going to print them. They are not going to print them anymore. Well, that makes a lot of sense. But you won't be able to say that anymore. So from now on, you're going to have to say that makes a lot of nickels. I don't know if I like that. Patty says, I'm still sick. Smoking related. Don't smoke now, but sure did back in the day. 4-day hospital stay in January. I'm sorry to hear that, Patty. I'm sick, not smoking related. Possibly smoking related. But I'm getting better day by day. Dana says, Carnegie was a Scottish industrialist, one of the richest families in the world. And he had a big hall. Mr. P says, yep, I've heard that for years, though, Linda. I suppose it's time that the penny gets stop getting made. I think you're probably right. Walter says, I'll be praying for you, Patty. That's nice, Walter. Thank you. And Mr. P says, yep, Dana, I did book reports on several Greek men, and he was one of them. And Patty says, thanks for any and all prayers. Well, you get 2 a week from me. I hope that is enough. By the way, speaking of 2 a week, won't you guys do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's effortless. It's right in front of you. It really does help the channel with the algorithm, and it helps us get recommended to other people. Won't you do that? Please share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into our family. Make a part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid as long as you're thinking critical. That's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you dig the content tonight and you'd like to see more of it and you'd like to help out, consider joining the channel or throw in a super chat or buy a t-shirt or do something like that. But if you want to help out in a substantial way, you can go to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a CashApp user, you can go to $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It is a win-win. It's a blessing to me, but it's a blessing to you too. Why? Because God notices these things. Now, me personally, I'll do everything in my power to be worthy of your support. I will answer all of your questions and comments. I will read all of the chat all of the time, as I always do right now. And I thank you for that. Patty says, whoo. Fab Daddy says, have a great night, everybody. 2 and 5. Stay hydrated. I'm trying. Thank you very much. Whew. Amanda says, good night, Fab Daddy, and good night, Patty. And Dana says, Patty, you are loved, dear Patty. Roses and hearts, and you are that. Patty says, I really think a lot of all you. Peace and prayers. Thank you, Patty. We think a lot of you, too. And you get better. You get back to your fighting strength. And we'll take on the world. Mr. P says, we do care about everyone here. Yes, we do. And I care about me, too, so I got to go to bed. It is 10 o'clock, and I'm turning into a pumpkin. I can feel my feet turning orange as we speak. Mr. P says, God bless and stay strong, everybody. Right on. Oh, you've been sick. I see. That's different, Dakota, than I've been sick. Dana says, Mr. Pro, heart exclamation point. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for putting up with my fluey tail. Excuse me. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for some Bible study, and we'll get in to see if we can finish the book of Matthew finally. I don't know if we'll get there or not, but we'll try. Walter says, good night, all. God bless and thanks, Jake. Thank you, Walter. Amy just popped in and says, hi, bye, all. I'm late for everything. That's all right. You can go back and listen to it from the beginning. It was fantastic. You'll love it. And thank you for being here. Linda says, good night, all. Heart and prayers. Well, I hope you feel better, Linda. Get that migraine under control. And get back on your feet, honey. Linda Davis says, I read that one. Did I? Linda Davis says, good night, all. Hearts and prayers. Yes, get back on your feet. I said that. Mr. P says, good night, dear Dana. Smiley face with hands. You know what they are. And a heart. Walter says, hi, Amy. Bye, Amy. Amanda says, good night, all. Hearts in a circle. John H. says, good night, everybody. Bless you all. Good night to you too, John. Thank you for being here. Danny says, blowing a kissy face. not to be confused with an actual kissy face. I wonder, do they have a post-kissy face? You know, one that's like this? That one? I'd like to see that one. Amy says, I will. Thank you. I appreciate that. Enjoy. Mr. P says, blowing kissy face, heart, 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 heart. Dana says, blowing kissy face, heart, heart. Mr. P says, we're leaving, Amy. See you next time. Well, you know, it's 10 o'clock, and I'm sweating, so it's time to go to bed. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I enjoyed the conversation tonight. I enjoyed the many different directions that the conversation went. I always like it when that happens. I can't wait till tomorrow night where we can get serious on some Bible study, and I'll see you then. Until next time, thanks for watching.